Hey y'all, it's a holiday time. We hope y'all have a Merry Christmas. And we're gonna come at you and give you a quick shop tour update before we hit 2025. Okay, you've seen some of this 72 Nova and we're finally got started on it. So right now we're doing the RideTech coilover suspension, front and rear. Got a big sway bar, upper and lower control arms. They're really nice. They got Delrin bushings and then obviously single adjustable coilovers to make this thing ride and drive a lot better. If you come to the back, same deal, RideTech system. It's pretty nice that we got rid of the entire leaf spring setup and we've got a 4-link kit, adjustable coilovers. We got a narrow 9-inch rear end on this thing, and you can see here, we've got this tool. We're waiting on some tires to get here, but we're trying to size the wheel accordingly so that we get the right fitment. The wheel and tire combination really look good. There's no rubbing. So you can see this is made by our friends at Verified Fabrications. We've got a couple of these tools where you can set the diameter of your wheel, you can set the width of it, and then you can set where you want it in and out, measure it, and that gives you your backspace. So you measure once, get the right wheel once, and you don't have to do this thing twice, especially as expensive some of these 2-piece forged billet wheels cost these days. So you can see here, we also did the Detroit Speed mini toe kit, and we're going to run an 11-inch wheel on the back of this Nova with a 305 tire. We're just waiting on the tires to get here, mock them up, figure out what our backspace needs to be, and then we're gonna go straight to Billet Specialties and order some wheels. Up front, we've got to get the spindles and brakes on, and then we're gonna get it sitting on its weight, and we're gonna do the same thing with that tool. We have got some 255 tires that we're gonna put on a 9-inch wheel, we think, on the front of this. Again, once we do get our tires and we get the tool in there and measure it, turn it lock to lock, make sure there's not gonna be any rubbing, we'll verify that. But that's our plan as of right now, is an 18x9 with a 255 tire, and then we're gonna do a 19x11 with a 305 tire. So it's really gonna fill this Nova up. We're gonna look good. The stance is gonna be on point with the RideTech suspension. We're also doing a Holley EFI upgrade on this. So it's got a small block Chevrolet in it right now, and we're doing the Holley multiport fuel injection. So we've got the intake manifold, drilled machine for the 8 injectors, 2 fuel rails. It's going to have a throttle body that sits on top where the carburetor goes. We're going to control it with a Terminator X system. So again, we're doing that as well while we're doing the suspension up and brake upgrades. We're going to have 13-inch Wilwoods on this thing. So 6-piston calipers on the front, 4-piston on the rear. Should give us plenty of stopping power. Wilwood master cylinder, proportional valve, and so forth. Pretty cool Nova 72 for all you Tennessee fans. It's orange, so I'm sure everyone's gonna love that. White interior, so great combination for a car here in Tennessee. Moving on, you've seen some of this 63 C10. We've done some random things to it. Right now, the guys have been working on the bed specifically. So if you'll come back here, you can see that we have got the Bedwood kit mocked up in here. We got the wood set in. Obviously, that's gonna be stained and finished or whatnot. But the biggest thing is we're having to fab new wheel wells. So you can see here, that's a lot shorter than the factory one because the factory one's gonna be sticking up right here. And to get the contour and shape we wanted, we just figured it'd be just easy to build a new set, and that way the owner can just sell whatever the old set that came with the truck. But you can see that's looking really good. We've got a little bit more finishing work we have to do to it, but getting both those done. And then actually I've got some hinges coming, and so the whole entire inside of this bed, so from here to here, is actually going to be hinged, and it's going to open like this just to be able to have access to the suspension components, the air suspension stuff, the battery. It's all underneath this bed, and the compressors for the air. It's going to make it a lot easier just to be able to raise this up and have access to that if we ever need to do any maintenance, troubleshooting, figure something out. So again, this is coming along really well. The guys have done a great job on the bed floor stuff. Again, we did a lot of painting on the interior. It's actually looking really nice, and we got it running. So just get that bed finished up and we'll be done with this. We are so close to being able to start on this. I know you've seen this in the background of some things, but it's a 66 GMC, and we're really excited about this build. We've got the rendering done. You may have seen it on some of our previous posts. We'll get a few things wrapped up on these other projects. Start the new year off. We're going to pull the sheet metal off, and we're going to set it on the new Roadster Shop chassis we have in another shop. So we've got our Roadster Shop spec chassis, coilovers, 13-inch Baer Brakes, all the good stuff with that. We've got a Blueprint Engines 500 horsepower LS3 coming. We've got a boiler H stack going on that, and we're going to dress that up and put some small block Chevrolet valve covers on it just to make it look a little better. But Billet Specialties wheels on this thing, plastic instruments gauges, American Auto wire harness, vintage air, a lot of the same key components that we use in all of our builds. Really excited. This thing's going to be a really good driver and an awesome looking truck. So. This just came in about a week or so ago. A little square body. Who loves a square body? I mean, we've got GM trucks everywhere right now. The owner has gotten this up to this point, done a good job, got it in primer, and now we have got to finish the wiring, finish the plumbing. We've got a Tremec TKX 5-speed manual we're gonna make to the back of this thing. We got from American Powertrain. So get all those mated together, get them shoved off in here, finish the wiring, get this thing where it runs and drives, pulls itself, and then it's going back to him. Pretty excited. This is a 454, but it's got a pretty decent cam in it. It's got like a 106-degree load separation, so it should hit a pretty choppy lick. I'm excited to hear what that thing sounds like once we get in there and get it fired up. But you can tell, you know, we had sold the customer this vintage air front runner system. Looks really good. He installed it on there, so part of that work's already done. Again, we just got to go through the valves, check them, set the timing, get this thing fired off, get an exhaust put on it, and then he can take it back and finish it up from there. So again, cool little square body truck. It's got the transport wheels on it. It's gonna look good when we get the weight of that big block sitting down in the front of it. It should have a pretty decent stance, and wait to see what he does with it, what color he paints it, and what it looks like when he's got it all said and done. So that wraps up the clean shop over here. We'll walk over and check out the dirty shop, see what's going on there. All right, so here we are in the dirty shop. Specifically, this is where we do most of our body and paint work. For you that have not seen any of our videos yet, this is nothing new. We're still shaking this thing down. I've got a little over 100 miles on this joker, but again, this thing is completely finished. We've tested it out. All the electrical components work, AC works, heat works, starter runs good. We are just literally putting miles on this thing. This time of year has not really been conducive to that, so I've not been able to put the miles on it as quickly as I normally do. But that is it. We try to put, you know, at least 300 miles on a full build like this, just to make sure we shake all the bugs out. And then once we give it back to the customer, you know, we feel that we've done our due diligence and that the car or the truck or the Jeep in this case is ready to go, and they don't run into a bunch of stupid little stuff that may happen. So we'll change it. You know, it's got break-in oil in the engine right now. We'll change that out, new filter and so forth. And again, just make sure all the electrical components work, and then this thing is ready to go to the customer. We feel good about it. They feel good about it. It's a great transition from there. Behind you here, you can see this is that Roadster Shop chassis that we were talking about for that 66 GMC truck. As you can tell, these things are killer. It's a brand new chassis. This is a great foundation for any new build that's going to go to that next level. You can see independent front suspension. It's got the RideTech coilovers on it. Rack and pinion front steering, which is really nice. I mean, you can see these rails are fully boxed. Front to rear gives a lot more strength as you work your way back. You know, this thing is already set up with motor mounts, transmission mount for that LS3 and that 4L65E that's gonna go in this thing. This is the tank for it actually, which is going to mount back here under the bed. Brand new 9-inch rear end, 4-link. It's gonna have coilovers. So 13-inch Baer Brakes all the way around. We can't wait to get this, get that other truck off the old chassis, set it all in here, get everything mocked up and see what it looks like. So we've got all new, you know, polyurethane body mounts that are going on this thing. So once we set that cab and stuff on there, we try to get it as close to how it's gonna be. We don't use old mounts or anything like that, so that when we do start gapping and flushing, doing our metal work, and then obviously onto the bodywork side, that we don't have any variables that we're gonna induce by using different mounts, weather strip and so forth. But super excited about this build. I love these GM trucks, especially the 60 to 66, and this thing's gonna be really cool. Over here, the last part of the dirty shop, you can see Robert has actually got this 72 C10 behind us. You've seen it before, and it's actually going home tomorrow. So what we're doing on it is we've driven it, we've put miles on it. We are just going nut and bolting all the things. So front to rear, we're gonna check all the fasteners, check all the hardware. We're gonna rebleed the brakes. We're gonna check all the fluids, make sure they're full, and just clean it up a little bit, you know, before it goes home. But that is kind of where we're at on this. And it's ready to go home. He's picking it up tomorrow, and we're just going over it front to back, top to bottom, to make sure everything's tight, everything's good to go for when the customer picks it up. They're happy, right? Y'all know about this thing. You know, got shot wheels all the way around, Wilwood brakes, 9-inch. It's got coilovers in the back. We built a 2.5-inch stainless steel TIG welded exhaust. It's got an LS3 with a cam, a 6L80E transmission. Super cool truck. It's got a great look, sits good, and we're excited for the customer to get this back for Christmas. Here behind us, you can see 1950 Chevrolet. This thing's been here for a while. We're kind of almost to that point where we're ready to blow it back apart, make sure everything is primed on it, and then start doing our body work. So you can tell on these things especially, we cut the top on this, right? So we're gonna have to have custom glass made. So we took this plywood and we made templates, make sure everything's gonna fit like we want. And then we actually put all the window channel and stuff in this thing. We put the rubber around the vent windows, and we put the power window motors and whatnot, regulators, and we've actually put power to them. Make sure everything rolls up and down like it should. Nothing's binding weird, so that we're not running into those type of issues. Once it comes back to us, it's got shiny paint on it. It's ready back for reassembly. But again, we've had the Holley Terminator X mounted in this thing. We've got brackets made for that. We've had the harness in it. We've got the vintage air, routed all the lines. So this thing, as far as that goes, has pretty much been together as a car. We've had almost every part and component in this thing to make sure it's all going to fit, and then we're not having to weld any brackets on or drill any holes or anything like that once it comes back from paint. But again, this thing is about ready to blow back apart the rest of the way. Go over there, make sure everything's epoxy primed and sealed up, and then start doing our body work. Again, this is our dirty shop. Got some cool stuff in here. We're full shop. We're wrapping up 2024 with a bang, and I'm excited to see what 2025 brings. So this is our December shop tour. Thanks for joining. We'll talk to you later.